Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening and a good day to all of you. I hope everyone in the pink of health. Let us extend our gratitude and thankfully we are to Allah Ta'ala because with His bless we can gather in this meaningful talk of sharing. We would like to extend a warm welcome to our speakers, Professor IR Dr. Sha'ali Muhammad Yusof, all the distinguished guests and participants to this soil mechanic industrial talk for today. My name is Nur Akilah M. binti Kaharudin. I am a student from Soil Mechanic and Foundations Plus on behalf Section 2 and I'll be your MC for today.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Nur Akilah, for the kind introduction. Thank you, Dr. Chiming and Dr. All the lecturers and staff of UTHM, as well as the students of this so-called subject. So I was asked by Dr. Chiming to share some of the aspects of lean and also engineering management with all of you today. So it was like in February, I think, long time ago, and then things move very fast. So Alhamdulillah, today we are here. So can you hear me clearly? If you have hear me, just say, just thumbs up or I requested for opening buka video lah, tapi tak boleh buka pun tak apalah. Boleh dengar? Okey lah, boleh dengar. Tadi saya sebut nama je lah, tak ada nama pun. Semua ada nama kan. Right.
Yes, we can hear, Prof.
I have very short time, okay? I'm very short time. I want to talk for 5 hours actually, but I don't have that time, okay? I have a lot of things that I think I've already shared slide with all of you. Can you see the slide? All of you had the slide kan? Dapat kan? Dr. Chiming dah share kan? Ke ada yang tak dapat lagi?
Ada Prof.
Dapat Jadi dia mengajar virtual ni, saya suka mengajar face to face. Saya tak suka mengajar virtual ni. Tapi dah paksalah. Jadi if you have questions, just stop me anytime. I hope you don't fall asleep. Okay, so dengar dan at the end, if you have questions, please post the questions. Saya prefer question yang verbal lah. Kalau chat tu saya tak sempat nak tengok ni. Jangan type kat chat ni. Chat ni kan nanti saya hilang fokus. Okay, the title of my talk today that I've thought about, okay, is actually lean and engineering management in construction. I've actually tried to relate into construction as much as possible. Any one of you, siapa yang pernah dengar lean? Siapa yang pernah dengar lean? Buka mic kata ya. Tak adalah maknanya.
Ya, tak ada.
Ya.
Siapa yang kata ya? Ya. Oh, pernah dengar. Ramai dah pernah dengar lah ni. Siapa cakap ya tadi first kali?
Saya doktor. Akmal Daniel. Akmal Daniel, saya.
Okey, apa tu lean? Terang kepada saya apa tu lean? Dah
Saya
tahu saya
pernah macam pernah dengar je tapi tak pernah ambil macam tekankan sangat kat ni. Okay,
has any of the have you taken lean construction before? Ada tak student yang pernah ambil lean construction? So that I have a figure lah, a feeling of apa siapa yang apa ni kan. Ada siapa yang pernah ambil lean construction?
Tak pernah, Prof.
Tak pernah. Siapa jangan segan lah. Dia patut lagi tak boleh segan lah. Ini depan depan komputer, bukannya depan manusia pun. Tak ada, tak pernah dengar. ataupun pernah dengar sikit-sikit lah. Right. Okay, let's start the ball rolling. I'm going to, this is the flow of my talk. That is, first of all, I want to talk about the history of Lean, okay, or so-called Toyota production system, because Lean doesn't come from itself. It comes from Toyota production system, okay. And then I'm going to talk about the history, lepas tu dia punya apa orang kata concept and methods, and then I'm going to relate to construction, Lean construction, and then give some application in construction. Dengan last kali saya akan tie up in terms of what do you need in an excellent organization. What is, excellence in all engineering-based organization. Dan saya akan touch a little bit on the research in Lean construction. So cantik kita ni? Cantik?
Cantik.
Kita apa ni?
Cantik.
Kita apa?
Toyota.
Specifically, model apa?
Mirai.
Oh, okay. Siapa yang cakap Mirai? Mirai itu apa?
Future.
Future dah ada dah kita ni. Dah ada dah. Dekat Jepun dah ada. Dekat US dah ada. This is a hydrogen car. This is a fuel cell car. Okay. So Japan, Toyota is one of the best company which I admire lah. Okay, you tak admire, you have to find your niche lah, your interest lah. Jadi I'm showing this because I think it's a great company. Okay. Then so the development of Toyota is not, dia bukan 1 hari 2 hari, bukan 1 hari 2 hari. It's already 84 years of, so 84 years of development. Okay, Toyota. And daripada Toyota ke Toyota, dulu Toyota, the founder, and they became Toyota. And then they implemented TPS. Saya akan tunjukkan jalan ni. Saya akan tunjuk jalan ke mana dia pergi ke TPS. And then how it became Lean. How it became Lean. Okay, kalau tengok kat sini, ni ada buku Lean Thinking kan. Nanti saya akan terangkan. Buku Lean Thinking ni daripada Womack and Jones. And then this is also Womack and Jones. Toyota Way is from Leica. So this is the great company. It's a great company and it has given the world TPS. Dia telah memberi dunia Toyota production system secara free ya. Betul. Panel Ang betul. Dia apply to concept of just in time. Nanti saya akan terang lepas ni ya, just in time. Tapi saya laju sikitlah pasal sebenarnya masa tak banyak. Kalau masa banyak memang sonok ni nak cerita. Okay. So if we look at the history of Toyota, dia mula sebagai Ikichi Toyoda is just a rice farmer. Okay, anaknya Sakichi Toyoda. So it's not a Toyota, it's Toyoda kan. Dan so Sakichi Toyoda was the inventor of this. Dia menghasilkan tenunan kain lah. Okay, kain. This is a weaving loom. So he invented many looms and he became the national hero because he invented the weaving machine that has automatic stop. Bayangkan kita membuat kain dan dia buat daripada benang. Apabila benang putus, apa jadi pada kain itu? Akan nampaklah cacat kan? Cacat pada kain ni. Jadi dia invented this machine that stops. Stop machine tu bila benang putus dia akan berhenti, dia akan buang, dia akan ganti dengan benang yang betul, benang yang baik. So that is the start of Jidoka. So those invention eventually bila dia buat car company that actually became dia punya way of doing things lah. Jidoka is automatic quality control. automatic quality control. So in 1936, Toyota was formed. So kita nak lebih kepada cerita pasal Toyota. Otomotif otomotif. So Toyota ni dia ada otomotif, dia ada yang buat lift truck dia buat bus pun ada. So their first product was actually trucks. Dia bukan buat kereta dulu, dia buat trucks. Okay, they supply truck for government during the war. But they faced financial crisis in 1950. Inilah punca dia perlu memikirkan satu sistem pembuatan yang baik. Okay, so that's why they came up with this Toyota production system. Aiman ada soalan ke Aiman? Aiman angkat tangan. Oh Aiman, tak ada. Dia raise hand. Okay, so financial crisis, there was a restructure, ada layoff, and there was a labor dispute, almost bankrupt. Toyota was almost bankrupt in 1950. The banks didn't want to give loans, okay? But somehow or other, they turn around now. They lay off, lepas tu they actually design and also develop a new way of doing things, how to manage the organization. So lepas tu truck production increase, and then they introduce Kanban, another concept dalam Toyota production system. Kanban ni adalah it's actually cut ataupun signal. Signal untuk apa? Signal untuk menyatakan bahawa barang dah tak ada, jadi kena hantar. Okay, so that's why the concept of pull system. Pull ni maknanya you do not produce products or cars unless it is required by the customer. So customers wants, kita akan pull the production. Jadi cut ni adalah Kanban yang akan gunakan untuk replenish the parts to the production line. Okay. Dan in 1960 tadi sebut tadi kan Jidoka dekat yang buat kain tadi, in weaving mill were introduced in automotive line. That means whenever there is a problem, you need to stop the line. Stop the line means you have to actually make correction before you continue the process. Kebanyakan daripada kita ni atau di dalam mana-mana kerja kan, di construction pun sama jugalah. Okay, salah pun jalan, tak stop. Okay, so that is going to eventually find out, then you have to repair it. Kena buka balik. Itu perkataan kena hack balik kan dalam construction. Kenapa kena hack? Hack pasal dah salah silap. Tapi kalau ada Jidoka, that means you stop the process. Then you will make sure that you reduce costs. So at the end of the day, it's about cost, about coordination, and about efficiency. Okay, so all these provide basis for Toyota production system. Semua ni menjadi asas kepada Toyota production system. So it was actually one of the main person to create Toyota production system adalah Taiichi Ohno. So dia dikatakan sebagai guru lah, the founder and also one of those who actually create the Toyota production system. Right. So Toyota production system, after this you will see in more detail. Basically, it's about producing what is required only. Okay, at the correct time, just in time. Bukan just in case. Just in case ni kalau kata just in case we don't have enough parts, we keep the parts extra. Just in case. But just in time system means you only make what is required. And kalau dapat buat satu lagi, hebat lah. Maknanya kita buat satu saja komponen, lepas tu kita pasang kat kereta. Bayangkan kalau satu komponen tu, maknanya dia mesti quality mesti perfect. Kalau tidak, kita kena cari ganti yang lain. So that is going to affect efficiency at the end of the day. Okay. So not only that, actually Toyota won the Deming Prize Quality Award in 1965. Okay, one of the first few companies yang menang Quality Award, Japanese Deming Prize. Okay. Because in order for us to produce on time, quality must be perfect. Dia tak boleh, you send defective components, then you cannot assemble or install it on the car, right? So in 1973, there was an oil shock, Japan in recession, and TPPS first became widespread attention, and it became a way of managing what they call organization. But in 1990, later on I will show the Unity. 1990, the book entitled "Machine That Changed the World," the study of lean production was published by Womack and Jones and Rose. Then it came out with the second edition on lean thinking. So this became the lean. Perkataan lean tu datang dari situlah. Okay, but it's actually initially the study of Toyota production system. Okay, and you can refer to Jeffrey Liker is an American professor in Michigan who actually wrote the book Toyota Way. Okay, kalau nak tengok further, you can visit the site. Okay, you can see the site and learn more things. They're still going very strong. Toyota is one of the best companies. So, okay, before I go into more detail. So how come Toyota, they are very successful? One of the things that they have developed is these 5 main principles in Toyota. Okay, I'm not going to go everything in detail, but this is actually the teachings of Sakichi Toyoda, which was collected and arranged by their sons, their in-laws. Okay. So he said, always be faithful to your duties, thereby contributing to the company. Kat Malaysia ni, kalau kita tengok, orang kadang kerja tak serius tau. Betul ku depan mata saya ni, kerja tak serius. Jadi susah juga kita nak ensure excellence. Excellence cannot come from not contributing your best to the organization. Always be studious and creative. So in Toyota, everybody needs to study. No one, if you're not studious and creative, I don't think you will be able to work in a company like Toyota, or even for that matter in in big companies, good companies. Then always be practical and avoid frivolousness. Frivolousness ni dia, nanti you Google lah, you cari dia punya maksud dia. It's more like not serious in doing things. Okay, playful, not serious in doing things. Kat Malaysia je yang kalau tempat kerja saya cakap ni cakap terus terang lah. Yang kalau raya jual kuih dekat office. Betul? Betul tak? Tak percaya.
Betul.
Betul tak? Mana ada kalau you pergi syarikat Jepun yang jual kuih masa raya, tak ada. So kita adalah ada ni campur serius dengan itu susah. Saya dah tua orang letih cakap mana tu. Nanti orang cakap saya ni fikir kerja aja, tapi boleh asing sikitlah ni tak ada berkaitan dengan kerja kan. Okay, always strive to build a home-like atmosphere. Walaupun home-like lah, tapi jangan make it like a home. Ada dua beza tau. Home-like atmosphere ni, harmony, there is good discussion, warmly, friendly. Bukan jadikan rumah kita ni, pejabat kita ni tempat kerja. Tempat kerja kita macam rumah. Gantung gambar ni, tampal ni macam-macam, semua jadi macam kat rumah kita pula. Jadi tu, that is okay. Maybe you have your own point of view lah. Always have respect for spirituality. Okay, this is according to their religion. Sama kita je sama Islam, sama lah. Islam pun kita ni kan. Okay, so that's the history. So why they need new production system? Kenapa? So basically it's like this. So Toyota was struggling. Remember tadi financial crisis. So financial crisis ni dia sebenarnya berkaitan dengan banyak benda lah. So crisis situation after World War. Scarce resources. Latecomer in car industry. No raw material, no money. Little money. Makannya agak sekunai. Duit sikit. Okay. And only resource is human. Therefore, they need to produce given these constraints, and they need to develop their own technology, their own methods, and their own production system, which become, so the basis is produce only what is required, only the amount required, and at the desired time. So this is basically one of the pillars in Toyota production system, just in time. Okay, dan satu lagi adalah jidoka lah. Okay, tengok video ni kejap lah. Okay, saya silap tadi saya.
Began what's now known as lean manufacturing, an ethos emulated by companies around the world to make products faster, cheaper, and better. Here's how Toyota changed the way we make things. Following the Second World War, Japan was left in a precarious economic position.
Steel and other metals are scarce.
Already disadvantaged by lacking natural resources, materials were hard to come by, and companies had to be creative to compete. Toyota's founder, Sekiichi Toyoda, had started a loom business, but it was his son Kiichiro who founded the motor company in 1937. They were used to working within narrow margins. As the shortage of materials increased during the war, the number of headlamps on its Model K truck was reduced to one, and it only had brakes on one of the axles. The turning point for Toyota's production system would come in the early 50s, when Kiichiro's cousin Eiji would travel to the US with a veteran loom machinist, Taiichi Ono. They visited Ford's River Rouge plant in Michigan and were impressed by the scale of the operation, but knew that in cash-strapped Japan, companies didn't have the resources for such a system. Having months' worth of stock sitting in a warehouse would tie up precious capital they didn't have. Instead, what truly impressed Ono was a visit to a supermarket, a Piggly Wiggly, according to legend. Japan didn't really have self-service stores at this point, and he was struck by the way customers could choose exactly what they wanted, when they wanted. He decided to model his production line on a similar idea. With the supermarket formula, only enough parts were produced in the first phase to replace what was used in the second, and so on. This is where the just-in-time system really took shape. Toyota was able to eliminate much of the waste in Ford's system, making smaller numbers of parts to be used when it needed them, allowing the company to operate on a tighter budget. As part of this, Ono developed Kanban, a sign-based scheduling method which shows goods in production, and goods out. It's now seen as a precursor to barcodes. Ono and Toyota also noticed that American car companies were still employing many of Henry Ford's early production techniques. They kept operations at full tilt in order to maximize efficiencies of scale, but then had to repair defective cars after they rolled off the line. Ono believed this caused more problems and didn't encourage workers or machines to stop making the mistake. So he placed a cord above every station which any worker could pull to stop the entire assembly if they spotted a problem. The whole team would work on it to prevent it from happening again. As teams identified more problems, the number of errors began to drop dramatically. Combined with a culture of continuous incremental improvement called Kaizen, the Toyota production system built a brand known for making reliable and affordable cars. But Toyota was also getting good at producing cars quickly.
Yes. In short, summary, is actually a series of related activities aimed at elimination of waste, okay, and also to reduce costs, improve quality, and improve productivity. And how they do it, because it's actually very complicated. It's not really, this is very a simplified version of lean or Toyota production system, but not to say complicated. It's very comprehensive. Comprehensive. There's a lot of things that is required actually. Scientific mindset in terms of going to the actual phenomenon. We call it a Genchi or Genchi Genbutsu. Going to the actual happening of the problem, emphasizing facts. So problems and things to be improved must be based on facts. And they are the problem-solving method by themselves. Okay, Toyota has their own, problem-solving methodology. So I think in the video is mentioned just now that US they face this economy losing competitiveness to Japan, and they need to actually catch up. So that's why they they in 1990, they went to Japan and did a study. Go to Japan and conduct study how Japan did. So it's an MIT study, and they produced the machine that changed the world, as well as Deming. Deming is one of the gurus that actually helped. That initially helped Japan, but later on, he came back to America and helped America as well. Okay, so game changer, lean thinking. So I need you to understand that the few more terms which is very important, which is actually muda. Muda is waste. Muda is in Japanese. So in lean thinking, that's why dia punya title buku kalau kau baca ni, banish waste and create wealth in your corporation. Banish waste. That means eliminate waste. Reduce the wastage that exists in processes. So that you can do more and more with less and less. So this is difficult to understand, to do more and more with less and less. We waste a lot of time. We waste a lot of energy. We waste a lot of effort. So we need to find that waste. Less human effort, less equipment, less space. Less inventory, less space. Macam construction site. Construction site, letak pasir sana, letak sana, batu letak sana, besi letak sana, tak ada susunan ke? Kenapa nak kena lambat mana-mana je? Biasa kan tengok dekat construction site kan? Kenapa tak nak susun according to? If you have arranged properly, you have less space required. But if you do not arrange, you will have, you have this waste mudah. Okay. So in lean thinking, you all must remember that we have this so-called principle. This is what Womack and Jones. One is specifying the value and then making value flow, identify the value stream. So every work that we do, there is a value stream, from the suppliers to the processors to the customers. Any kind of businesses, not only production, including what you call healthcare pun, hospital pun ada value stream, okay? And you make the value flow, pull production, not push, and strive for perfection. This is what Womack and Jones have proposed. That means you follow these 5 steps, then you will have what they call you're on your way to developing the lean culture, the lean way of doing things. So the how this is a compressed lah. This is a lot of things, but in construction mungkin ni tak pakai lah ni, hijungka ni tak ada. This is production, production. But you need to think both these 2 principles, which is important. This is called a pillar. This is the house of TPS. Yang atas sekali dia punya target, targetnya best quality, lowest cost, shortest lead time, best safety, high morale, and it is supported by just in time and JIDOKA. Alright. Of course, you have this team, people and teamwork, and also waste reduction as the continuous improvement activity. Dalam Jepun, dalam bahasa Jepun dia panggil sebagai Kaizen. Pernah dengar Kaizen? Pernah dengar? Pernah dengar kot? Tak pernah dengar? Pernah. Okay. So just in time, just remember, just in time means make and deliver only what is needed. When it is needed, the amount is needed. So that means what, when, and quantity. Okay, so you do not make what is not needed. Because if you make what is not needed, it is waste. Okay, so that's basically the the thinking. Then only you will result into full production, and you remove, especially inventory. Tadi saya cakap tadi pasal pasir, batu, besi, it's all inventory. Inventory, if you do not use it and it go damage, then you lost. Okay, it's money. Inventory is money tied up. Kita kalau beli banyak sangat bahan mentah, betul kita simpan tak pakai, tak dapat hasil, tak nothing. It doesn't bring benefit. So you need to reduce inventory as minimum as possible. Dan kalau boleh one piece flow dalam production lah. Kalau dekat construction tak boleh one piece flow. Kalau dekat production boleh one piece flow. That means you only make one, next process makes the whatever the next processing and so on. Okay. Because when you use small buffers, then quality defects become immediately visible. Bayangkan kalau kita buat satu kerja, satu video ni lah. And then your work in process, you simpan 10 apa orang kata raw material, 10 pieces ke, 10 unit ke. So kalau kata you process, ni saya makan masa sikit lah. If you have 10, if you take one, it is rejected, you can take another one. Betul? You can choose lah dalam ni. But if you only have one here, what happen? If you have only one, kamu ada satu kertas je. Saya kasih kamu satu kertas je untuk buat soalan periksa. Okay, bandingkan dengan kalau ada 10 kertas, you pun conting, buang. Nampak? So you, when the smaller the buffer, the requirement for you to produce higher quality is there. Okay, so you need to produce, kena kerja dengan betul-betul, buat betul-betul baru kita boleh elakkan daripada pembaziran penggunaan. Right, so I'm going to repeat this again. This is actually the DOCA concept. It's also called automation. Automation is automation with human touch. That means the machine or the process will stop by itself without having the human having to stop the machine or having the human to stop the process. So this was first introduced by Toyota, and if you go to any production line, car manufacturing, saya pernah kerja Proton 6 tahun, okay, Proton masa mula-mula. So you can find this automation or what they call production line needs to stop before you actually continue. Okay, another important principle in Toyota, dia panggil Toyota Way, tapi tak apalah. Toyota Way ni Lean namanya, ataupun TPS, sama je. Toyota Way, Toyota Way or TPS or Lean. There is two important components in Toyota Way. One is respect for people, and the other one is continuous improvement. And the way that the Toyota what they call management set up this system is that in order for us to do good work, then you need to actually build the people, respect for people, respect others, make every effort, understand each other, take responsibility, and do in a teamwork, maximize team and individual performance rather than individualistic. Okay, especially in Japan. Japan is known for teamwork. Okay, that's one area, and give them the motivation to perform well in organization. Okay, give them the what do you call it? Dia punya remuneration, dia punya gaji, dia punya tempat kerja yang seronok lah, tempat kerja yang seronok nak kerja kan. Another thing is they must have continuous improvement. Okay, by providing challenge. That means why Toyota developed Mirai. Toyota Mirai is fuel cell car, but today no company is actually going for fuel cell. All companies are going for electric vehicle, electric car. No, the use of hydrogen cars are going to be minimized probably. But this is a challenge to actually develop new technologies, and also Kaizen. Okay, Kaizen is the word for continuous improvement, continuous incremental continuous improvement. Okay. Another thing is Genchi Genbutsu, where you actually go to the source to find the facts, to make correct decisions, and also to build consensus, because they will actually go to the shop floor. Semua sekali lah, manager dengan assistant manager, dan tengok problem tu, sama-sama bincang baru dapat penyelesaian. Kita mungkin rasa buang masa ataupun what they call it's not solving the bigger issue, kan, but it is actually learning process. Okay, ni repeating this same slide. Teamwork. And I like this statement by Fujicho. Apa dia cakap tu? Apa maksud itu? What do you mean by first we build people, then we build cars? Former chairman of Toyota. Akilah, apa dia? First we build people, then we build cars. Translate direct pun tak apalah.
Ikut pemahaman saya, before kita nak buat satu benda, kita kena betulkan diri dulu macam tu.
Okay, kita betul-betul kita bina manusia dulu sebelum kita bina kita. Bila kita kata kita bina manusia ni, okay,